the things that Parry does very well is to make buildings that don't scream. Their presence is more in the lived life of the street. So they exist at the level of use rather than at the level of symbol. And it's a subtle distinction, but his use of materials, his use of scale, most importantly, I think the depth of his facades means that there's a blurring between the private and the public realm. And that's one of the most important things you can have in an architecture of the city.
Aldermanbury Square is extraordinary in that if you search, you find very quickly that there is the outline of the Roman fort of London, and then off to one side around the Guildhall is actually where the Roman amphitheatre was. So there's this extraordinary proximity. Cutting through this is London Wall. The idea was to make a bigger building, but at the same time to create a new public space leading through to the square on this side. So a new public space is created of some 100 metres actually through the building and into Aldermanbury Square.
It is then the richness of what is available there, the places to sit, the sound, the water, the transparency between the public realm outside and the spaces of reception inside, and their connectivity and what they allow in terms of enjoyment visually, in terms of art and craft.
The Aldermanbury building changed the nature of the public realm. The patterns of pedestrian movement, the possibilities of public space and what it offers are completely transformed.
I like what it's got its own little square to itself. You know, it's got the lobby way. You know, it's like a little village. This building, you know, it's nice.
The sound pattern is quite different, as well as the spatial pattern. And I think that's a very interesting juxtaposition. What its direct effect is, I think, is different for everyone. It encourages a moment of reflection. It doesn't demand it, it encourages it.
One of the good things about working here is not just the building, but the surrounding of the building. Aldermanbury Square itself, it's so well designed. The trees down there look fantastic, and in the summer it's just a great place to sit. It's just the feel of it, really. It's having the trees out there and the way the trees have been designed. It just looks so different from anywhere else around here. It's very calm.
The Parry building delivers a form of public space, and that is then enhanced and elaborated by various other architectural devices, particularly in the treatment of the foyer with some specially designed furniture and fabrics, with the water feature, which creates a different sound pattern. You don't just hear taxis growling or sirens coming out of the police station.
In the middle is what I characterise as the belly that cuts back to allow south light into that public space. The other thing that is most important is this facade. It has depth.
Shadow from light plays the most extraordinary part with this building.
The stainless steel is shot peen, so it's non-directional, so you don't read a grain. It creates a depth to the facade that allows light to work, picking up the sky.
The facade turns back to mediate literally with the sky, because in cutting back at the top and setting back, it picks up the reflectivity of the sky, so it's always going to be lighter at the top than it is at its base.
The clients always comment on what an amazing building this is. They always love to first take a walk towards the end of the lobby so they can look at the views, and yeah, they really love it. It's really light and it's bright.
You can sit in the middle of the floor and you can see what's going on outside, yeah, and you don't get that in a lot of buildings. I never tire of seeing that view every day. It's fantastic. Really, really, it's a special place.
There aren't a lot of office receptions that one thinks, wow, that's something extraordinary. It's a kind of gift. So rather than hiding it away behind doors, it is this explicit gift back to the city that's important.
A building can stick up out of its context, but not necessarily stick a finger up at its surroundings. It has a very architecturally variegated context, and what Parry did, which is very interesting, was to keep the building slender, to allow a public space to flower next to it. And that slenderness and the entasis, the very slight curve that he puts on the building, it gives it a real elegance, which is quite un-English. It's I think one of the interesting things about it is that it's a very un-English, un-London building. It makes an extremely interesting object. And it gives back to the public realm.